want to go into those inflated assets because your perception is that they're going up, just properly diversify. You know, if you're keeping intangibles, make sure you have some good, solid, tangible, sound money. And sound money is money that governments and central banks cannot inflate away. And not because I say it or you say it, but because they have the broadest base of buyer. Physical gold and silver is used in every sector of the global economy. Fiat money, digital money, cryptocurrencies, one place.
Yeah.
So if you've got one area of demand and that demand goes away, what do you have?
Yeah. No, it's not a stool, is it? You need 3 legs for the stool. And on that, true proof of work, a phrase that appears to have been hijacked, digging holes in ground, real geologists finding real high value scarcity that is non-digital but physical. That is of the real world. You'll be sold on a digital world whilst they go and secure contracts for resources in other countries. They want you to do one thing while they do another. It's not what they say, it's what they do you should be watching.
It has sped up since 2008, which I contend is when the system really died and just was put on life support with even more and greater money printing.
Yeah, and the drugs don't work anymore.
No.
And they can have their monkey money back. Not our monkeys, not our circus. Yeah.
And we have to find our community. And I think that has been so gratifying to me being here. And oh my gosh, I mean, look at, I already know so many people and you've introduced me to more people here in Panama. I didn't even realize that. I'm so glad we were talking that day and I happened to ask you where you were.
Yeah, it was great things happen. And the amazing thing, I want to build on your community. Unfortunately, people that are watching this right now, with the scale of this associated financial event, there is going to be absolute mayhem and chaos that extends beyond just financial and economic.
Yeah.
And therefore, the people you are associated with and you have around you become so much more important. I haven't physically met Lynette, but I already knew what kind of person she was on account of principle. You need to associate by principle. Who are the people that pursue sound money? Who are the people that pursue reputations of integrity and trust? And you should be surrounding yourself with those. And making sure, and you're someone who already has stateside a community and a nice big space, and it's something you're looking at potentially establishing further, is it not?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the community, it takes a village, right? So you need people with a whole bunch of different skill sets. I had somebody on the live today that said, well, I don't have any money. I can't afford to buy gold and silver. You know, what can I do?
In large-scale financial disruptions, resilience becomes personal. Beyond portfolios and price charts, the people around you matter more than ever. Community is no longer philosophical, it's strategic. When systems fracture, centralized solutions fail first, while local networks endure. Trust, shared values, and complementary skills form a parallel economy. Financial capital is only one input. Practical knowledge, food production, security, medical skills, and trade abilities become essential currencies. As global supply chains weaken and governments grow reactive, individuals anchored in strong local relationships gain flexibility. The future belongs less to isolated wealth and more to cooperative strength built before crisis arrives.
Well, there are a lot of things you can do because any skill that you have is barterable and necessary.
Yes.
I do know how to lay irrigation because I became an urban farmer, but do I really want to? No, that would be an important skill to have.
Yeah.
So develop more skills, right? And go to your local community gardens, go to your local farmers markets, get to know the people that grow your food. And with that local community, make sure that you have surety in food, water, energy, security, barterability, wealth preservation, community, build that community, and shelter, because these are all of the things that we need in order to sustain a reasonable standard of living. And dare I say it, globally, and I know to some people, they roll their eyes and they think I'm crazy, but this is also, in this crisis that is unfolding, this is the opportunity on a global basis to get sound money back into our system again. But dare I say it, it must be redeemable. The public, if you don't like what you see the government doing, you have to have the right to pull the gold out of the system. Because that's really what gold does for governments, is it creates that fiscal responsibility. You and I have to be fiscally responsible or we're going to be under a bridge.
Yeah.
Well, isn't it time that we demand governments be fiscally responsible?
100%.
They're spending our tax dollars, aren't they?
And the direction that they're going, we've coined a phrase, tax scavenge mode.
Money alone does not sustain life. Capability does. In periods of instability, skills regain value faster than paper assets. Farming, water management, construction, repair, healthcare, and energy knowledge are forms of wealth immune to inflation. Barter economies historically reemerge when trust in currency fades. Community gardens, farmers markets, and local producers are not lifestyle choices, they are risk mitigation. Food security, water access, shelter, and energy independence define real prosperity. These fundamentals create optionality when financial systems restrict movement, access, or capital. The more self-sufficient and interconnected a community becomes, the less exposed it is to systemic shock.
And some people were catching on and repeating it, so we thought, hold on, we better secure our IP, let's define it. And we did a little postage stamp and we pushed it out. And this is what happens. First, they tax you by sleight of hand covertly via expenditure beyond income. And that goes on the debt market. This is by inflation, the silent covert tax. What is happening as the debt markets are becoming less and less tenable, that bottomless overdraft is being reined back in. They get more aggressive, more totalitarian, and more direct in the form of their taxation. Do you know, Lynette, The Guardian ran an article today about Rachel Reeves, who's the equivalent of Scott Bessent in the States. She's the Chancellor for the United Kingdom, is planning a 20% exit tax for anybody that leaves the United Kingdom. And further to that article, in case you think, I'm not in the United Kingdom, she says it will be broadly in compliance in the direction of the larger G7, which is a fancy way of saying the West plus Japan. The G7, for those that do not know, includes the United States of America, France, Germany, Italy, United Kingdom, Canada, and the EU says the broader EU will be falling in line with the G7. Think about that. You've paid tax on your income, you paid tax on your company's profits, you've then got paid personally in a salary or a dividend, you've been taxed on that. You paid VAT on securing your goods, your shopping, and then you decide to leave your slave master, I'm intended to say, and he determines, he takes 20% of your entire assets. I mean, what's your comment on that? Where are we heading?
Well, let me tell you, there are all different names for confiscation. Because anytime I use that word, people, oh, well, they would never do that again. Well, they're doing it, and they're doing it right now. They can call it all sorts of names because they don't really want you to understand how they are robbing you.
Sound money is not ideological, it is functional. Historically, currencies backed by scarce, redeemable assets enforce discipline on governments. When citizens can exit a monetary system, reckless spending carries consequences. Gold's role has always been restraint. Without it, debt expands without limit and accountability vanishes. Today, discussions around central bank digital currencies, capital controls, and taxation signal a tightening grip. Fiscal responsibility is no longer optional. It is demanded by reality. True sound money must be redeemable, transparent, and outside political manipulation. Without an escape valve, monetary systems drift toward control, not stability.
How they are confiscating. What do we have to work with? We have our time.
Yep.
That's what we have.
Yeah.
And all of those different layers of taxes are ridiculous. And an exit tax, well, some of the states in the US are trying that too. So do I think that that's far away? No, I don't.
In fact, on my tweet, I had a few Americans answers, and they say California is wanting a 10-year clawback. One mentioned New Jersey, and there was a third state that I failed to recall. But quite clearly, just moving inside of America.
Yep.
And you're getting
exactly.
taxed. I mean,
I'm telling you.
Move fast while stocks last, as they say.
This has been really very eye-opening. There's a lot of things, there are a lot of different moving parts, but yeah, I mean, you want to be prepared while you still have the opportunity. Because that's the other thing. People think they've got all the time, and they don't. And you're not going to know 1 second before you lose all of your choices.
Yeah. Yeah, the hammer will suddenly fall. So the signs, the inclinations, the trial balloons that they float, it's the political way. Let's put a shot across the wire. What about this idea? They float. These are real, clear declarations of intent. They aren't in place yet in the UK. They aren't in place yet fully in the G7, but they are telling you where they might go. We also had Janet Yellen refer to unrealized capital gains. How about that one? Do you remember?
Oh, well, yes, I sure do. Oh, look, so they create the inflation, and they push in dollar terms, or wherever you are in the world.
Monkey money.
In fiat, right, that's it, monkey money. They push it up. People are going, ooh, that's awesome, but they're going to tax those inflated gains.
Modern confiscation rarely announces itself. It arrives disguised as policy: inflation, wealth taxes, unrealized gains, exit taxes, and retroactive clawbacks. As debt markets weaken, governments shift from indirect to direct extraction. Recent proposals across Western economies reveal intent, not speculation. Mobility, once a safeguard, is being restricted financially. The danger is not sudden collapse, but gradual enclosure until choices quietly disappear. History shows that freedom is rarely lost overnight. It erodes through administrative decisions framed as fairness or necessity. Preparation must happen while options still exist, not after policy becomes law.
Yeah.
It's outrageous. Why aren't you upset?
Yeah.
Right? I am. I'm very upset about it, because this is not the world I want to leave our children.
No, it isn't. And I talk to all the nominal normies, is my phrase, for people that think they've made money when something's gone up in dollar terms. There's a lot of them in the stock market right now. This is the other point that I love to bring up, Lynette. There is no basis of account anymore but a gold ounce.
Right.
All those that do accounting in dollars and euros, I'm sorry, that's not a valid measure. It is in the Ernest Hemingway bankruptcy curve. We've gone from the slowly at first, and we're in the now suddenly very fast stage. Your basis of account for your wealth, for what things cost, is a gold ounce. Anything else, you're a monkey on a grease pole with monkey money in your mouth.
Yep. And you need to get off the pole. And you need to have a foundation of sound money. And, I've been studying currency life cycles since 1987. And so our strategy, our sound money strategy, is built in layers for short-term, intermediate term, and longer term. And I think we need to be wise to what we're doing. And so even if you want to go into those inflated assets because your perception is that they're going up, just properly diversify. If you're keeping intangibles, make sure you have some good, solid, tangible, sound money. And sound money is money that governments and central banks cannot inflate away. And not because I say it or you say it, but because they have the broadest base of buyer. Physical gold and silver is used in every sector of the global economy. Fiat money, digital money, cryptocurrencies, one place.
Yeah.
So if you've got one area of demand and that demand goes away, what do you have?
Yeah.
In a world of digital ownership, possession matters. Financial assets increasingly rely on layers of legal claims, intermediaries, and permissions. Physical assets remove that dependency. Gold and silver, unlike digital instruments, exist outside networks and policies. They are used across every sector of the global economy and retain value regardless of system changes. Diversification today is not about chasing returns, it's about maintaining sovereignty. Secure, direct ownership, whether personal custody or private named vaulting, restores control. Sound money in hand is not speculation, it is insurance against systemic failure. If you don't control it, you don't truly own it.
No, it's not a stool, is it? You need 3 legs for the stool. And on that, true proof of work, a phrase that appears to have been hijacked, digging holes in ground, real geologists, finding real high-value scarcity that is non-digital but physical. That is of the real world. You'll be sold on a digital world whilst they go and secure contracts for resources in other countries. They want you to do one thing while they do another. It's not
Yeah.
what they say, it's what they do you should be watching. That is another thing to be observed in terms of the conduct of governments.
Oh, 100%. And people too.
Yeah,
I mean, that's,
yeah, true.
right? I mean, it's true. My father, people that have been watching me for a while know this, and it always kind of makes him sound less than, but to me, he was the greatest man that ever lived. But we used to have this little banter back and forth, and
Yeah.
he'd say, do what I say and not what I do. And I used to say to him, Daddy, that makes no sense to me at all. But what I didn't realize what was really happening is he was training me in how to pay attention.
Yeah.
So when I listen to the politicians or anybody, it doesn't matter who they are, I listen to what they say, I read what they write, and I watch what they do. When their behavior is not parallel with their words, I know they're lying.
Yeah.
That's simple. You know, that's not rocket science. We can all do that pretty easily.
There's actually a big group of community of people that I'd like to target on that very, very point. People that will look and believe that Donald Trump is working in their favor. And we have a look at, say, the cacocracy. We don't have a dog in this fight, red or blue, but they're a front-running contract awards to Palantir, which is on about, I don't even know what its PE is. It's something ridiculous. They don't even call the PE anymore. They say multiple of revenue, which is essentially an outsourced CIA arm. They talk about the flush out on crypto that saw a lot of crypto bros get horribly hurt. There was 19 billion in liquidations. By the way, FTX was about just under 2 in the recently. And the Trump family made an unbelievable fortune by being on the right side of that. Do people vote themselves freedom for the last time, Lynette? Can they hear it from you?
You know what the vote is? Sound money in your pocket.
Yeah.
You need to be holding it, because if you don't hold it, you don't own it. And regarding that, and because a lot of this has been about vaults today,
Yeah.
and people know that I've been saying, if you don't hold it, you don't own it, and that's because of the digital string of legal ownership in
Yeah.
stocks and bonds and these intangible assets.
Yeah.
But the thing that I've been looking at too is how to secure it so that in a vault, in your name, like nobody can get in there
Yeah.
without you. So that is a way to safely hold some of your gold holdings, right? And in a diversified way, because you really do hold it, since you're the only one that can really access it.